Hi everyone, and welcome to Library Basic Training, Resources for Doctoral Success. This workshop is essentially a library orientation, but with a special emphasis on resources that you need to be aware of as doctoral students. My name is Amanda Bezet, and you can certainly follow up with me if you do have any questions related to the content of today's workshop. My email address is abzet, so A for Amanda, and then my last name, B-E-Z-E-T, at ncu.edu. Certainly don't hesitate to reach out to me. Now, before we get started with our content related to the library, I would first like to scroll down on the library's homepage to point out, if you are unaware, that you can access all of the other resource centers from the bottom navigation here. So if you needed something from one of these resources, you're easily able to hop onto those. The Dissertation Center is going to be your one-stop shop for anything related to your dissertation. So all of your templates, all of your help worksheets, checklists, all of that sort of thing, rubrics, all of that is included here in the Dissertation Center. The Academic Success Center is going to include all of the information about academic writing, citing in APA style, as well as statistics. So they offer a lot of different services, group sessions, one-on-one coaching, and editing services. So please don't hesitate to go into the Academic Success Center to get the help that you need. They also have some live chat hours as well. And then the last resource center I definitely wanted to make you aware of, let me back up and just say that the Dissertation Center has a counterpart if you are doing an applied doctorate. That's called the Applied Doctoral Center. It is arranged very similarly to the Dissertation Center, and again has all of the rubrics, templates, and information that you need to get started and continue working on that dissertation. And then the last section that I want to point out here is the Center for Teaching and Learning. The CTL provides a lot of different support resources under this Learning Resources tab, as well as under the Webinars tab. You can see a lot of great recorded webinars to help you throughout your time at NCU and beyond. Okay, so now that we've explored those resource centers at the bottom of the screen, let's get started with the NCU library and what you need to know to be successful as a doctoral student. And by the way, if you're viewing this recording as a non-doctoral student, that's totally fine. There just may be a couple of specific databases that you don't utilize quite as often as a master's student or a non-doctoral degree student. So the first thing that we want you to know above anything else is how to get help from the library, because that's why we are here. We are here to support you with your dissertation journey, and we want to make sure you're able to contact us and get the help that you need. So if we look on the right-hand side of the screen here, as we're scrolling down, we do have that live help box. Now currently our library hours are posted here in Pacific time. We are currently open on Saturdays, but definitely keep checking for any updated hours that may occur. We are open extended hours on Sundays until 7 p.m. Since many times you are submitting assignments on that day. So you can reach out to us via live chat. You can call us and then text us for basic directional questions, but you're not going to get in-depth responses from us via text message. You can also, during our live chat hours, use our Ask a Librarian service or email. Essentially, that's the same on our end. So Ask a Librarian is great, though, because you get to submit your question anytime. So let's say you're working into the night, or you're working on a Saturday when we don't offer live support. We don't answer right away. We will answer during our next business hour, but it will be a great way just to get that question out there and be assured that it will be answered as promptly as possible. So that way you don't have to remember, oh, when the library opens, let me contact them about this. Just go ahead and submit that question. Both Ask a Librarian or Chat are really great as well, too, because we can actually provide you with direct links to example searches that we've done on your topic or direct you to specific resources and guides that would be helpful to you in the process. So whatever works best for you, that's how we want you to reach out to us. All right, so the next thing we're going to talk about are the self-help resources, because there are some things that you can certainly assist yourself with and learn about that does not need assistance from a live library staff member. And so we're going to go through some of these self-help resources, and those are here under the Research Help drop-down menu. So what I'm going to do is click on the first one, which is Learn the Library. This contains all of our recorded workshops and quick tutorials, as well as some additional resources as it relates to learning how to use and navigate the library. So we have some quick start videos listed here on this page, but I recommend navigating to the Library Workshop Videos tab on the left-hand side. We do have a slew of workshops here in that first box, and there are a couple that I recommend above all others, and that is first and foremost Searching 101. Searching 101 is going to go into the ins and outs of how to effectively search in the library's Roadrunner Search, and these techniques do apply to additional databases as well. Searching 102 is a supplement to that, and it really involves finding additional research related to articles and resources that you may have already found. Now, there are quite a number of other helpful videos up in this box, but what I really want to point out to you all as doctoral students are the Library Dissertation Toolbox workshop recordings. Now, these are also offered live, and I'm going to show you where to access all of our live resources as well, our live sessions, and how to register. But if you are unable to attend those live sessions, there are workshop recordings for each of these. So these Library Dissertation Toolbox workshops are all separate sessions. They don't necessarily build upon one another, so you can watch them in any order that you want as it relates to whatever stage you are in that research process. So if you are currently trying to find information about your theoretical and conceptual framework, for example, you can view that recording here. Or maybe you're at the very beginning stage and you're trying to either locate a research topic or find out ways to stay current on a research topic. So everything is included here. You can access those recordings 24/7. So I'm going to head back to the library's homepage. And the next thing I'm going to do is go to our library guides, which is the second listing under Research Help. Library guides are essentially put together for all specializations that we have at NCU. So as you scroll down, you'll see all 144 guides, but you can also narrow these by subject here. So let's say you are an education student and you are studying global training and development. You can click on that and then view that specific guide to global training and development. And what these guides do are essentially provide a starting point for the best available resources related to that specialization within the library. So you can see on the left-hand side, we have specialized databases, journals, news and magazines, reports, books. Background information will include encyclopedia entries, dictionary entries, handbooks, that sort of thing, to provide that broader overview on the topic. And it goes down to websites and beyond. So what I find most valuable about these guides are the journals, because the journals have been specifically chosen by the librarians as representative of this field. So it's a good way to get familiar with some of the scholarly journals that are more relevant to your specialization versus just kind of general journals. And you can click on each one to get to that specific journal and see what that up-to-date information and research that has been published. Following that, you'll see for this discipline, top-ranked education journals. These are just general education journals kind of across the spectrum. So that is the library guides. You may also see this, and professors as well might use the term LibGuides. LibGuides are the same as library guides. Okay, so heading back to the library's homepage, I'm next going to navigate again to Research Help and go to the research process. Now the research process, as I scroll down on my screen on that left-hand side, you can see this is a pretty enormous guide because they each of these sections have subsections. So we're by no means going to go through this together today, but there are certain sections that I want to point out as extremely relevant for you as doctoral students. And so the first section that I'd like to point out is called Preparing to Search. And the first link under Preparing to Search is called the Database Research Log. And I'll go ahead and open this up. It is a Word document that you can download and modify for your own use. And I'll make that a little bigger so you can see this. Now, what the Database Research Log is, it's a simple template, and you by no means have to use this, but it is a way for you to keep track of search terms that you've used and databases that you've tried in the library, what sort of limits you've applied on those searches, like scholarly and peer-reviewed or a date range, and then what sort of results you have found. I like this section here, this column, to make notes to myself as to what I want to research the next time I go back to do my research, because you'll find a lot of times what will happen is we're all multitasking. We all have very busy lives. So maybe you're searching and then you think to yourself, oh, next time I want to do this. In this example, I want to look for articles more specific to MBA programs. But you know, you may have to start dinner for your family or go pick up your children, and then you forget that thought, right? So you can jot that down here in the results, or you could change this to comments section to give yourself a note of what you want to do the next time you do your research in the library. Now, why this is so valuable beyond that is because in an appendix to your dissertation, you do have to provide the reader with the search terms that you've used and the databases that you've used for your literature review. This helps your dissertation committee to know that you thoroughly researched your topic, and it also helps additional students who may look at your dissertation once published and help them to craft similar searches. So coming up with that list of search terms actually has a lot of lasting value when it comes to other researchers. But again, it is required for your dissertation. So you better just keep track of those search terms from the very beginning so you can just easily paste those into your appendix of your dissertation. So again, that was included right here under Preparing to Search within our research process guide. Now, the rest of Preparing to Search goes into each individual search technique that we cover in our Searching 101 workshop. Remember, you can get to that workshop recording from our library workshop videos page. But this is a quick way to jump to that particular search technique and read all about it and see examples of how you could use that search term. So that's going to be a helpful section for you. The next sections that I really want to point out here correspond to resources for a literature review. So if you hover over that, you'll see all of those subsections. We talk about finding a literature gap and studies that call for future research. We talk about systematic reviews and meta-analyses. We talk about finding seminal works. And finally, we talk about exhausting the literature. How do you know that you've researched something to completion and that you're ready to stop researching your topic because you've found everything that relates to it? These steps are going to take you through how to more confidently determine that that has taken place. And then the section called Resources for Dissertation Research talks about how to find other example dissertations, which we'll take a look at today, how to research theoretical and conceptual frameworks, how to find information about research methodology and design, and how to find test instruments, surveys, scales, interview protocols, all of that sort of thing within the NCU library and outside of it as well. So these sections are extremely relevant for you as doctoral students. So I'm heading back to the home page, and we've covered everything under Research Help because we talked about Ask a Librarian earlier when we talked about contacting the library. Next, I want to pop over to services because I mentioned earlier that there are live events as well. So I want to jump into those live events. We post the listings for the upcoming month towards the beginning of the current month. So right now you can see all of the events that are upcoming. You can click to register for any of the sessions. Note that registration is not required currently, but it does give you a reminder 1 hour before that session, so you're reminded to attend. So advanced search skills is going to be a really great one for doctoral students as well. It is very similar to Searching 101. So if you prefer that more live format where you're able to ask questions and interact with a librarian, advanced search skills is going to be a great session. We also have these great library power hour and Q&A sessions. This is sort of like a catch-all. You can come to these sessions with my colleagues and essentially ask any question about using the library or just get some encouragement and support. We do have library orientations as you're viewing this particular session. I think this one would be unnecessary for you all. We do have training on Refworks, which we'll talk about briefly, locating dissertations and theses, and it goes on from there. You'll see our Library Dissertation Toolbox series is live. That's a series of 13 workshops that are offered only twice every year since there's so many of them. So you can start wherever it is in that series and attend all of those if you would like to do that. Running research with Roadrunner is also a good one that relates to very similar to advanced search skills, but focuses more on the features that are available in Roadrunner versus the techniques. So a lot going on here. You can also see some additional Q&A sessions. There's some test and measurements office hours that are offered for doctoral students as well. So just keep your eyes peeled and register for any and all sessions. Okay, heading back to the library's homepage, I'd like to now, since we covered sort of all of those self-help resources, I want to turn our attention to this link that says A to Z Databases. A to Z Databases is the link that provides you with all of the subscription, as well as a few non-subscription databases available within the NCU library. And right now we have a total of 165 databases. Now that number can be quite overwhelming, right? That's a huge number of databases. So how would you know where to begin, right? Well, I can give you one tip here, and that is going to this All Subjects drop-down box. We do have a limiter for these subjects. So you can choose education just as an example, and we still have 85 databases. As students, you're not going to get familiar with 85 databases. No one would expect you to do that. But what is super helpful here is that we have created this best bets section. This best bets section contains the top databases that we recommend as it relates to education research in this example. Now, in many cases, I'll flip back to the home page, you're going to be running your searches in this Roadrunner Search, sort of like the Google search for the library. But in other cases, it will be extremely beneficial for you to really focus in on that discipline-specific research by going to one of these databases. And again, you can do that for the other subjects as well. I just happen to choose the education as an example here. Okay, so now that we talked a little bit about what is here, I actually want to point out two specific databases that are going to be applicable to all disciplines and that you really need to know about as doctoral students. The first one is called Proquest Dissertations and Theses. Now we have two versions of Proquest Dissertations and Theses. We have the at North Central University version, and we have the global version. So the at North Central University version is very helpful when you're starting to explore our dissertation format. You want to see dissertations that have been successful from other NCU students. Sometimes you might want to see specifically a dissertation that was completed under your own dissertation chair. All of that can be done within the North Central University version. As you start working on Chapter 2 and really trying to uncover all available research on your topic, this global version may be more helpful because this includes over 3 million dissertations from all over the world. And this is really going to allow you to find dissertations closely related to your own and see what other resources these students used. Not only what resources they used, but what research methodology and design they used, what test instruments they used, what theoretical or conceptual framework they selected. All of that you'll be able to investigate through the global version. You can do that from NCU, but you want to open yourself up to additional dissertations using that global version. For today, though, I am going to pop into the North Central University version because, as sort of newer students, newer doctoral students, this might be the way to go. And so, of course, we can search for any topic that we are interested in here. Or if we just wanted to see what are all of the EDD dissertations from NCU? I really just want to browse at this point. That's something we can do. PhD is a little bit trickier since there's so many PhDs, but if I type in EDD here, there is a field code limiter here for available from this drop-down menu that says DG. Degree, DG, that's what it says. So I've typed in EDD, degree/DG is what I've selected, and now I can press search. So now I can see all 2,300, over 2,300 EDD degrees that have come out of NCU. For each one of these dissertations, you'll be able to view the abstract and details, a 20-page preview, or jump into that full text PDF. Remember, these are huge documents, right? Dissertations take years to write, right? So these are huge documents, so that PDF file is going to be pretty big, which is why you offer that preview. I like to pop into the abstract and details page. And as you're here, you're going to get presented with discovery tips for dissertations. And these are really quick tutorials on what is a dissertation, how is a dissertation or thesis useful as a source for my topic, how do I evaluate, and how do I cite. And you can dismiss this. It will pop up every time you have a new session with Proquest Dissertations and Theses. So here is our abstract and details. As I scroll down, I can see all of the subjects associated with that dissertation as well as the abstract. And then you can also see the dissertation committee. So we have the advisor, which is the dissertation chair. That's just the terminology used in this database. So Maggie Broderick is the dissertation chair for this one. And then the academic reader and the subject matter expert are listed here as well. Again, you can see this was an EDD. And if you want to get back to this dissertation, you can always save this document URL. This is a persistent link back to the resource, so you can go back to it at any point in time. And then, of course, you can jump into that full text at any time. But I'm going to go back to our search. I'm going to modify our search. So we start from scratch and clear out the form. So I have nothing listed here. I also want to show you if you wanted to browse dissertations based on your dissertation chair. So let's say you're just assigned a chair and now you want to go and look at all of the students that have been successful. You're going to scroll down and click on Lookup Advisors. In this enter a name field, you're going to enter the dissertation chair's name. So I'm going to enter Menifee for Dr. Stephanie Menifee, and I'm going to click Find. And here I can see that I'm presented with 3 iterations of her name. And so I want to check on all of those. Fortunately, most of them are listed on one record, but we have 2 variations. So we want to check all of these and then click Add to Search. When we have done that, it brings us back to our search screen with that information included. The only thing I need to do now is click on the search button. This will execute that search for all dissertations that have been completed under the direction of Dr. Stephanie Menifee, and that is 17. So again, you have all of that full text available for you to take a look at these dissertations. And sometimes a dissertation chair might point you to a specific dissertation. This is a good way to find that if you don't know the exact title or student name. Okay, but of course, just to reiterate, if you wanted to search for dissertations from NCU based on a topic, just go ahead and type in those keywords that you're looking for. So I'm going to close out of Proquest Dissertations and Theses at North Central University and just remind you that global version does exist, and you will probably be utilizing these quite often for your dissertation. The next database that I want to take a look at is called Sage Research Methods. So I'm going to click on the S's there. Okay, so we have a number of Sage products, but we're going to scroll down to Sage Research Methods. This is a database that provides information about research methodology and design. So this information is primarily coming in the form of books, reference books, non-reference books, but in addition to that, there are videos, case studies, some journal articles, not many, data sets, and now podcasts. So all of this information can be searched from a single search box. So just as an example, let's say we're looking to find out more information about conducting online surveys because we know that we want to survey teachers or survey administrators about some concept that we're investigating. So I'm going to say online surveys. I'm using quotation marks there, so we look for that as an exact phrase. And then we have over 10,000 results found. So we have a high number because we looked for that as a keyword anywhere, but we do have a lot of ways to narrow down that content using the left-hand side of the screen. But I'm just going to take a look at some of our first results. You can see we have this book doing surveys online. We have conducting online surveys. Let's see. This is a chapter within the SAGE Handbook of Online Research Methods called Online Surveys. So if we're interested in that chapter, we're going to click there. If we're interested in the whole book, oh, actually, I think this is the section. Let me click here first. Chapter in the SAGE Handbook of Online Research Methods. Okay, no, let me go back so I can just clarify it for you. Okay, so this takes you to the entire book, the SAGE Handbook, whereas this one takes you to the specific chapter. So I'm going to click there. The full text is going to display for you in HTML on your screen, so you can scroll down and view all of that, but you also have the ability to download it as a PDF. So I'm going to open that up so you can see how that works as well. So there's the PDF version of that document. Now you can cite this document in APA style. It should default to APA. And then you can also, if you're trying to kind of cite a particular section of this book, you can show page numbers here so that you know what page that content appeared on. So that is how you can do a simple search here in SAGE Research Methods. But really, the benefit of this tool is not only the ability to search and explore all of this content, but there are these really cool tools here that you can access either on the search results screen or on your homepage here. The first one is called the Methods Map. This is sort of a visual way of searching. Ultimately, you're going to arrive at a search results screen similar to the one that we saw previously. But this is a visualization that demonstrates how methods are related and connects users to relevant content. So what we can do here is we're starting out with this broad concept of research methods. We can click View More to see all of the narrower terms. So let's say that you are in the research design phase. I can click on research design and again view more if I wanted to look for all of that. And if I am doing applied research, for example, I could click there. And if I'm doing action research, I could click there. And if I'm ready to view all information about action research, I can click on this blue link right here. Before I do that, I'll point out that a very brief or succinct definition of action research is displayed. So that's one of the benefits of using this, this tool. The methods map, I was blanking on the name. So you could click search all content, or you could continue narrowing that. If you're doing participatory action research, I'll click there, and now I'm ready to search all content on participatory action research. So again, like I stated previously, this takes you to the search results screen, and you're able to view all of that action research information. So I could, again, click on that particular chapter that I was interested in and talk about the history, nature, participatory action research methods. Now, as we're here and gathering information about which design we've chosen for our dissertation, just keep in mind that you will have to briefly discuss why that was selected. What made that better than another available design? So that's where this is going to be a really useful resource, and just getting that background information about the designs. Okay, so the next tool is the Project Planner, and I love, love, love the Project Planner because it provides an overview of conducting a research project such as a dissertation. Now, the thing to keep in mind here, it does not provide any specifications related to NCU, right? This is just a general overview. So for our specifications, again, you want to go here to your Dissertation Center or Applied Doctoral Center. But this I like because it provides very succinct information. In this case, I chose defining a topic, and it will hyperlink you to sections within Sage Research Methods to provide more information. And then they have very handy checklists. So this checklist is questions to ask yourself when deciding on the topic. And I really love this because it's simple, but it's super helpful. You can also cite each of these individual sections in APA style. So if you're wanting to cite just this checklist, you can certainly do that. That APA citation is right there. So take a look at the project planner, if nothing more than to grab all of the checklists, because I absolutely love them. Okay, I'm going to go down here. This is the Which Stats test. This allows you to answer a handful of multiple choice questions to find out which statistical method would be best to analyze your data. So I'm not going to go into the test, but I just wanted to show you that this is a tool that is available. And then finally, there are reading lists created by other users. You also have the ability to create your own reading lists by creating a profile up here at the top. So we're not going to go into that right now, but if you would like to create a profile, you can do that and you can create your own reading lists. And that in a nutshell is Sage Research Methods. It's so, there's so much here. Just take some time to explore it. Now, those were the only two specific databases I wanted to point out from our A to Z databases link. Again, just a reminder that A to Z databases contains all of our subscription content, so you can access anything that we have through A to Z. But a lot of times when you're searching for your scholarly literature, you're going to start out with this Roadrunner Search. And the reason for that is that Roadrunner searches across most of our database subscription content. So there are some exceptions here. You're not going to get listings of dissertations here. Again, we saw how to effectively locate dissertations, but here you can search across most of our subscription database content. The exceptions would be like business databases that provide things like company financials, legal databases. Those things are not searched here within our Roadrunner search. I'm going to click Advanced Search. I always recommend an Advanced Search. So I'm going to open that up. And we don't have a lot of time here to talk about using this Roadrunner Search. So essentially what I want to do is a quick search here. I'll explain the techniques briefly. Again, you can refer to Searching 101 or Advanced Search Skills, the live session, to get more in depth here. But I want to show you how to get started, as well as how to access the full text content and request an item via Interlibrary Loan if that is necessary. So I'm going to look for online presence. So I'm thinking of online presence as it relates to online classes. So I'm looking for online presence. Oops, I actually started the search. That's okay. I'm looking for online presence as an exact phrase with no other words in between. Therefore, I'm using those quotation marks. Now, I also want online presence as it relates to the faculty member in the course. How present are they in the course, and how does that affect student outcomes? So I'm going to put here, I'll explain it after I type it, faculty or professor or instructor. So this is a technique called nesting. This allows the database to, essentially you're giving the database a choice. You're saying, I definitely want this exact phrase online presence. Please combine that with either faculty or professor or instructor. And I could keep going if I wanted to do teacher or administrator or whatever it may be. As long as I connect those terms with ors and keep them in parentheses, I'm good to go. On the last line, I'm also going to pop in my last key piece of this topic, and that is in higher education, because I'm not really interested in K through 12 in my example. So I'm going to say higher education as an exact phrase, or college or university. So we're giving that nice choice there. And I'm going to just press search. So our results screen will list all of the results related to that. We had not yet put on any limiters, so I do want to talk about those. As I scroll down on the left-hand side, you'll see this Limit To section. This provides the most common limiters, full text, scholarly, and the date limiter. And we'll talk about each of these. Full text means that you want to only find articles if we have the full text immediately. So as doctoral students, I encourage you not to check this full text box. The reason for that is you have a job to do, right? You're trying to uncover all available research on your topic. Well, the perfect article could exist, and you may just have to take an extra step to request it through our free interlibrary loan system, which we'll see. But if you check full text, you won't even find out about that article, that it exists. So you want to leave your options open. So you want to leave that unchecked. However, you probably will want to check the scholarly and peer-reviewed journals limiter for most of the time, most of your searches, because 85% of your dissertation references need to come from scholarly and peer-reviewed journals within the last 5 years. Now, that 85% rule does allow you a little bit of leeway, right? Some of your seminal research will be older than the last 5 years. Some theoretical or conceptual theories might be a lot older than the last 5 years, right? Those could be 30, 40, 50 years old, even older. So, and also there may be resources that are extremely beneficial to your topic, but they come in the form of educational reports or something of that nature, government reports, which are not scholarly resources, but can certainly lend evidence to your topic. So therefore you have a little bit of leeway, but for the most part, you're probably going to check this scholarly and peer-reviewed journals box. This open access box you can pretty much ignore. This is just a way to say you only want results if they're freely available to everyone online. So it's not really a limiter that you're going to be using. And then the date limiter, for reasons that we just talked about, I don't recommend putting that on necessarily. Maybe once you've really conducted all of your in-depth research for your topic and then you're just trying to stay up to date, maybe at that point put on a date limiter, but you don't want to eliminate older articles that could be seminal, that could be theoretical, or that could just lead you to newer research. So we'll leave that date limiter off. So I'm just going to, I think this already updated with scholarly. So let's start looking at our results here. As I scroll down, you'll see that many of them have the full text either as HTML or a PDF. Whereas others have this 360 link to full text. This is a way to check the entire library for that access. So I'm going to click on that here. And there are one of two outcomes. The first outcome is that you link directly to that source wherever it lives in the library, and you open it up on your screen and it's the full text article. This is the second outcome. So this is the less desirable outcome, but this is exactly what I wanted to show you. This is the screen that you land on if we do not have access to that resource. So this is coming from the Journal of Positive Psychology from 2022. Now what we can do here is we can actually double check access if we wanted to. So I can click check the journal or book title in the NCU library. When I do that, it's going to bring me to a search box and I can paste in that journal title. So again, this is the Journal of Positive Psychology. I'm going to press search, and what this tool does is it will tell us if the library subscribes to that content, and if so, in which databases and in which years. What we have done here is just confirmed with certainty that, you know what, the library does not get the Journal of Positive School Psychology, unfortunately, in this case. Now we know that we're ready to return to the screen and click Interlibrary Loan Request. So when I do that, as a new user, you will need to click Set Reset Password. And while we are here, let me just navigate back to the library's homepage to show you where our Interlibrary Loan Guide is. This is under the Services tab. This will give you all the ins and outs of our Interlibrary Loan system, including, I think there's a recording, a workshop recording on using it. But I'm going to go back to the login screen. Again, you'll click Set Reset Password. I'm just going to sign in. When I sign in, it's going to automatically populate all of the information about that particular request or that resource. So as I scroll down, you can see that already, and I keep making my screen bigger for you all, that the journal title is the Journal of Positive School Psychology. It has the date, the issue, the page numbers, the article title, everything that we need to know about that article is already populated for you, which is very cool. I think we try to make it as seamless as possible for you. The only thing you need to do is put the current course that you are enrolled in and then submit your request. Once that interlibrary loan is fulfilled, you'll get an email letting you know that it is available. So you can click the link within that email or log back into your account. So if you're not accessing your account via this screen, you will access your account via Interlibrary Loan. And then click here to access your account. I did that quickly, so I'll go back. That button was right here. But once you're here, so it knew I was logged in, but you can always bookmark this, so you don't have to go in through that guide in the library. But your requests will appear on this Request tab. And you can see that I've had a few requests this year and last year, but all of my links are expired. What that means is that once your item has been received, you have 30 days time to save a copy of that article to your own computer. After the 30 days, it's going to wipe it clean and you'll see that link expired, although you can request it again. But you're going to want to make sure you save it once you get that article. So the name Interlibrary Loan is sort of a misnomer now, since you're keeping a digital copy of that article. It's going to come to you as a PDF document. Okay, so I just wanted to really make sure you knew how to proceed. If you click on this green 360 link and you're not seeing that full text document, there are other what are called article linkers. I'm going to see if there's an example. Sometimes you'll see, like, it'll say full text from Eric. That should link directly to it. You may see other, like this one, full text from IGI Global. You'll just need to click on those in order to access that full text content. Okay, so that full text is there. You can view it as a PDF. Okay, so I wanted to make sure you knew how to access all of your content here in the Roadrunner Search. Now, in addition, I want to point out that you do have a My Ebsco account here. It is a seamless integration once you have authenticated into the library, and you can use this account to save resources that you have found. So I have created some folders here, but if you wanted to add stuff to, it'll just say My Folder for you. You can add resources here, and then your folder is here at the top of the screen. So we don't have time to really go into your whole personal account here, but I did want to point out that that is a feature. Alternatively, you can export content into the library's reference management tool, which is called Refworks. And so we don't have time to go into Refworks during this session either, but I want to return to the library's homepage and show you that you can access our Refworks guide right here where it says Access Refworks. This is a tool designed to allow you to save citations and full text articles in one place. It allows you to organize them into folders and create APA formatted references lists. And finally, it does have a plugin for Microsoft Word, which allows you to use it to insert in-text citations in APA style. Okay, so it's a really big tool. It does require a little bit of learning on your end, and therefore we do have live Refworks training sessions as well as a recorded session if you are unable to make that live session. You can always contact the library for support related to Refworks. In some instances, we do need to direct you to the Refworks support, and all of that information is here on the left-hand side of the screen. But definitely check with us first, and we'll be happy to try to see if we can assist you if you are having any issues with Refworks. We don't do walkthroughs of the tool during one-on-one sessions, but again, you can attend those live sessions or watch this recording. So with that, the last thing that I want to present to you all as doctoral students is the ability to supplement your research using the Google Scholar search engine. So I'm going to click on a new tab or window and go into Google Scholar. Google Scholar is a way to obviously search the open web for scholarly material, and it does not ensure that this material is peer-reviewed. However, it does ensure that the material is scholarly in nature. The reason why I highly recommend Google Scholar is because when we're talking about the library and we're talking about the Roadrunner Search, most of this content is subscription based, right? We pay a lot of money for you to access this research. But there is some very valuable open access research that is available online that is not included in the library. So we want to make sure you know how to get to that and you know how to use this supplemental tool. So just as an example, I'm actually going to head back to our Roadrunner Search because the reason why I like to use our Google Scholar search, I like to use it to see who has cited an individual source. In other words, this article, as an example, was written in 2019. Actually, let me see if I can find one that maybe is a little bit older. The relevancy sort here in our Roadrunner search does privilege some of the newer content, but I found one from 2015 here. So what I'm going to do is copy this article title and I'm going to paste it in Google Scholar. And we're not trying to find this article, right? We already found it in Roadrunner Search. Let's say in our scenario, we're using it for our dissertation. We can use Google Scholar to search for the record for that article in order to see who else has cited the article. Now, that is extremely important because that means that since 2015, when this article was published, 18 other researchers have cited it, meaning they have referred back to this article in their own research. Now, the benefit of that is not only finding similar results, but these similar results are much more recent, right? So those could go up till today. Here's a more recent article right here at the top. And so we can see all 18 of those articles that cited that original article. Now, what I want to show you here on the right-hand side of the screen, you'll see that I have full text at NCU displayed in some of these articles. Let me pop to the next page too, just to see if there are any more. Okay, so in all of the cases here, let me just go back and explain how to access the content. So if the resource is available in full text, open access online, you'll see that PDF link here. There might be HTML, but usually it's PDF. Additionally, you can link NCU Library to Google Scholar so that you can access content within the library. Now, in this particular example, it did us no good because all of the content that we wanted was available online. But let me just try a particular search. So I did library instruction doctoral students. Look at this second result here. See how there wasn't a PDF open access link? We can access it though in the NCU library. So if I open that in a new tab here, which I want to do, otherwise it opens in the same window, is that it went directly to that full text article in the library. So let me show you how to set this up. This works on your browser's cookies. So you're going to come up here to our menu. You're going to go to Advanced Search. And I'm sorry, you're not going to go to Advanced Search. you're going to go to Settings. So you're going to go to Settings, and then you're going to click on Library Links. On the Library Links page, you can type in North Central or North Central University. If you type in North Central, you'll get presented with two options. We want North Central University full text at NCU. We'll check that. We'll leave Open WorldCat as is and click Save. And that's how you're going to have those full text at NCU links here. Here's another example. ABD or EDD, a model of library training for distance doctoral students. Not available online, but guess what? It's in the NCU library, and we can link out to that. So there is an FAQ. If we go to Ask a Librarian, if you need a reminder of that, we can type in Google Scholar. And then how do I connect Google Scholar to NCU's library if you need those steps again. Okay, so we have covered, just to recap, we have covered all of the self-help resources that I recommend for you as doctoral students. We also saw how to go to our live sessions, and then we talked about two specific databases, Proquest Dissertations and Theses, as well as Sage research methods. We did an example search here in Roadrunner and talked about how to access our full text content. And finally, we reviewed briefly how to use Google Scholar to find the citing articles for articles that we've already found. We also just did a quick search here as well. So you can either search Google Scholar or look for existing articles to find those citing articles, because I can't stress enough how important it is to find the citing articles in order to move forward in time in the research, find newer articles connected to your previous article that you've already found. So I hope that all of this information has been helpful to you. I know it is a lot of information, but the library is here to support you in your doctoral journey, so please don't hesitate to reach out. Thanks everyone, and have a great day.